grasp and that's what I felt, to be frank.
Say it again.
No, I was trying to find some videos of Jyotirmayananda's commentary. There are a lot of commentaries. He's given a complete volume. He's given like a video commentary
Right, I see.
in
Okay.
YouTube. But it was tough to kind of go look at his specific to this topic. It was a little challenging. I couldn't
Yeah,
find
that
it.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you looked for it, but I didn't even think about it. Okay. Very
Yeah,
good.
that's a huge volume. Some hundreds of videos are there. His commentary.
Right. Okay. Good. Very good. So we'll start with page 87, section 27. You want to read the next three paragraphs?
Sure, Abhi. 20, 27, 26, right? 27, right, Ravi?
Yes, sir.
Denunciation of all objects that obstruct self-realization. In the absence of reasons and reflection, the object of the world appear enchanting. There is nothing in this vast world that can promote peace and satisfaction in the mind. Childhood is spent in various sports. There is no possibility for mind to acquire peace and stillness. Then, with the advent of youth, the mind, like a deer, is caught by the trap and passion. The old age renders the body dilapidated. Thus, the mind is never at rest in this vain expansion of human life. The lotus of the body withers away as the frost of the old age overpowers it. The bee of prana, vital energy, leaves the body, and the stream of the world dries up for the departing soul. Ripening in the time, this body is relished by death. All objects of the world must change and perish in course of time.
The comment?
Yeah, I think it talks about the different stages uh, each soul goes through, and I know it takes a new life from birth to a childhood to youth, and um, you know no, all these are perishable in the course of time. The course of time time it again kind of emphasizes the power of kala, the time, which automatically takes you, evolves you from one stage to another,
Right.
which is inevitable.
Yeah. Yeah. So how we don't think about all these things on our own unless because of some good karmas we get exposed to some realized souls or the people on the path, then we start thinking, reasoning, and reflecting on these things. And
Yeah,
so
and,
we
and
assume.
another point to add, Raghuji, like between 21 to 26, the other thing that the commentary keeps indicating is not everyone realizes it. Only very rare that soul which realizes about this whole process, and then they divert their mind towards the wisdom thought.
Exactly. Yeah, that is the reason people attending the Gnana Yoga classes like Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and all that are very, very few, very few. So, but if they say, oh, we are going to teach yoga or mental concentration or improve your efficiency at work, things like that, people are interested because that will help their worldly life at office, at home. But when you talk about Gnanam, naturally, very few people are interested. So, uh, so we'll continue. Akilama, you want to read?
Hari Om Raghuji. Yeah.
Hari Om.
The impetus stream of craving flows on in this world. It continues to devour numerous objects, rooting out the trees of contentment that grow by its banks. Craving knows no fulfillment or satisfaction. This boat of the physical body is on the verge of sinking in the ocean of the world process. The five senses are like whales which aid the sinking of the boat. Seated in this boat, the soul is without rest or peace.
What and read the next one too.
Desire grows in the human heart like a mighty tree entwined by the creeper of craving. The mind continues to wander on its branches like a fickle monkey with increasing discontent and restlessness.
Yeah. Want to comment?
No, Raghuji, I'll let you comment.
Yeah. So that's the problem with us. We don't have any kind of satisfaction in our life, contentment. So that's most important thing that one should have on the spiritual path. And without that, then we go through our five senses into the world of objects and get attached and get into that what we call samsara. And so that what you call kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, all of them engulfs us. And so that is, he compares it to a creeper of craving, how it can entwine us and suck all our energy from us. And without knowing, by the time we realize it, we are too late, we are already old and suffering from infirmities. So, okay, Ashwin, you want to read, sir?
Yeah, Hari Om.
Hari Om.
O sage, those great men are rare who are unaffected by adversities, who are not deluded by the apparent charms of the world, whose minds are free from egoism, and whose hearts are untainted by the evil of passion. When I consider true heroism, even the perspective of attaining victory over an ocean of inimical soldiers does not seem to be heroic. I consider him a true hero who can cross this ocean of the world process by conquering the senses and destroying the root enemy, ignorance. No action of man can bring about the destruction of ignorance. I do not see the acquisition of peace through the performance of various actions. Even the fruits of righteous actions are perishable.
Yeah, to comment?
Um, yeah, you know, um, they're talking about a true hero, a true hero um, is the one who has transcended beyond the senses, the senses, and beyond the mind and intellect.
Yeah.
And those people are very rare to find.
Yeah.
I think even in Bhagavad Gita, I think there is, in the commentary where I think Bhagavan Shri Krishna says that out of lakhs of people, there are only few, who think about me or go on the path of spirituality. So there's something, there is similar, thought process in Bhagavad Gita as well, where the Bhagavan
Right.
talks about.
Yeah. But perfect. Yeah. So, like majority of us get attracted to the charms of the world. Even if you have a mild dispassion, when you start seeing all the luxurious food, luxurious pleasures of five senses, people get drawn away. And so, like it was said, a person like Alexander, who wanted to conquer the whole world, is not any great compared to a person who has conquered himself. So, one who has to conquer himself before he tries to conquer the world, because when you conquer yourself, then you realize there's nothing more to conquer, because you have realized everything. And the third paragraph is so beautiful. It reinforces the fact no amount of action removes the ignorance. Action in the spirit of karma yoga purify our heart, but gnana alone removes the ignorance. Very good. And who else is there? Mano Naidu is not here. Maya is not here.
Maya is here.
Huh?
Maya is
I'm here. I just joined here. I'm here.
Oh, Maya. Go ahead, Amma. Read.
Okay, which paragraph we are supposed to read? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Page 88, fourth paragraph.
Fourth, okay. Those great men who fill this earth with their glory, who pervade the directions of their valor and fulfill the needs of the needy, those who are endowed with endurance, humility, generosity, and are blessed with prosperity, are different to find, but even such conditions of prosperity gained by meritorious work must perish. Read further.
Read the next two paragraphs.
During the fructification of good karmas, prosperous conditions rush to a person as if from nowhere. In the same way, during the fructification of evil karmas, adversities fall on him like lightning flashes from the open sky. It is the due to delusion that a human being continues to cherish his perishable relationship in the form of sons, wife, wealth as the basis for happiness. With the advent of death, these loving relationships exist in vain. They work as a poison by creating painful impressions in the mind.
Yeah. Comment, Amma?
Oh, please, you go ahead. Thank you.
So, can say various things that you can have in this world, the valor, okay, the power over people, wealth, and all that, but everything can leave you, okay. But those who are endowed with the various virtues, endurance, humility, generosity, are the real blessed people. And but still, that is not enough, because all those things might take you to heavenly worlds and then you have to come back. But one who understands it and follows the what you call the spiritual path is the real winner. So good karmas lead to prosperity, and evil karmas lead to adversities and suffering. So one has to, even if you are not interested in spirituality, one should remember that and not think of or think, speak, or act in doing bad karmas, because that will come back to us. So, the third paragraph, he talks about our perishable relation with the family and friends. With that, I suddenly remembered last night or 2 days ago, I was reading from that book of Chinmaya quotes that the Aparajitananda writes commentaries. So it was very beautiful in a train. It takes about 2-3 minutes to tell, but I think it is interesting. In a train, in olden days, I don't know even if it is now, a ticket collector comes and wants to uh, check your tickets. And when he came there and he saw on an empty seat, he saw a wallet. And so he looked at it, and there was only a few rupees, and there was a picture of Krishna. And so he asked, whom does this wallet belong? An old 90-year-old man raised and said, oh, that is mine. So, how do you know it is mine? It is yours. So he said, oh, there is a picture of Krishna inside. So he said, well, anybody can have a picture of Krishna. How do you know that it is it is yours. And so that man started telling the story. When I was very young and energetic, good looking, I had my picture in the wallet. And as I grow up and then I fall in love with this girl, then I had that love girl's picture in my wallet. And then as my first son was born, I got my son's picture and I used to enjoy looking at him all the time. Okay. And then my parents died, and then my wife died, and then my son doesn't care for what I am, what I am doing, and whether I'm sick or alive or not. He is interested in his own life. So then I realized too late that the only person that who cares for me is Bhagavan. So I decided to have Lord Krishna's picture in my wallet. So, so like that. So we realized too late, most of us. So very good. So who is next? Nag, you want to read, sir?
Hari Om, sir.
Hi.
That gain is true gain, which, having been attained, is not lost again. But that which is gained only to be lost is an illusion of which the mind must beware. The object of the world are like bait waiting to entangle the fish of the soul. The mind of a person is constantly involved in thoughts such as these. This work must be performed now. That work must be completed in the future. I should not have done a particular work in the past. All this involvement is in vain. All these works are directed towards the attainment of the perishable pleasures of the world. Like old leaves falling from a tree and a new leaves taking their place, the souls continue to leave old bodies in order to reincarnate in new ones. Those who lack wisdom must continue to revolve in the cycle of birth and death.
Yeah. Want to comment?
No comments, sir.
Okay, so like the first sentence is so beautiful. The true gain is something that will never perish. You won't lose it again. That is knowledge. Once you realize that you are the Brahman, that imperishable, all-pervading Brahman, that knowledge would not disappear. But all the objects of the world, and even all the knowledge that you have of the worldly things, can continue to change and perish. Yeah. And our mind doesn't never stay in one place. Okay, even if you try, within a minute, it is already thinking about something else. So that what about what? Naturally, the worldly things. Okay. So he says beautifully, like old leaves falling from the tree, the new leaves taking the place. The soul is one that continues to change, go from body to body, body to body. Unless we realize that most of our jivas continue to be reborn again and again and again, even after many, many kalpas. The other day I was in this Yoga Vashishta, not Yoga Vashishta, the Vedant, forget.
Vedanta, sir.
Anyway, in the Shankaracharya ji beautifully talks about the mumukshus. The serious mumukshu is the one who just like when you are got a very hot water pan sitting on a fire and you touch it, then you feel so hot, you drop it immediately. Like that, a person who has that discrimination and leaves the home and becomes a mendicant is a real mumukshu. And the person who has desire for mumukshutvam and is working hard, okay, but not to that serious extent, he realizes in a few more lives. That's a medium one. Manda person is the one, I'm going to try. I know I won't reach it this life, and so if it happens, happens. But he keeps trying to some extent, but not serious. He's called a Manda. He might uh, realize at the end of the Kalpa. But Atimanda is the one who is like a person who imagines that on the road when he is going to find a extremely precious stone, and from which he will become rich, like that. So, Knana, if it happens, it happens. Okay, so I don't have to do anything for it. So that is Atimanda, that he is the one that will never reach the particular realization. So, like that, most of us are in that cycle. So, okay, I think I skipped a few. Anjaneyulu, sir, you want to read?
Hari Om Raghuji, which page is the
Page 89,
okay,
fourth paragraph.
89. Alas, only the dull-witted.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Hari Om.
Read the next three paragraphs.
Okay, sure, Raghuji. Alas, only the dull-witted can find rest in this perishable world without working for the true purpose of their existence through the service of sages and saints. They are able to enter a joyous sleep due to their intense ignorance. But how can a reflective person rest in peace without serving the true cause of his existence? A person has hardly removed his impediments to pleasure from his way and has hardly encountered a shore of prosperity when he sees death waiting at his door for the termination of his life. Like waves rising and falling in the vast ocean, so people are born to die and die to reborn. The wave rises and falls endlessly, and so we don't know the why. So it is referring to a normal person going through the life cycle from several thousands of births are, born, die, born, die, born, die. So maybe he is not come into contact with the, uh, Bhagavan and Krupa or, Guru Krupa. So he is continuing in that ignorance cycle of birth and rebirth continuously.
Yeah. Okay, so beautifully says, we are in the joyous sleep due to our intense ignorance. The only samadhi Raghu knows is good deep sleep. So we had to continue to strive for the awake and samadhi, not sleep and samadhi. Okay, and Dinesh ji, you want to read, sir? Dinesh Sharma.
I'm here. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thousands of people gather at a fair or at a pilgrimage place, but eventually they must separate from each other. In the same way, this world is an accidental gathering of souls at a passing fair, like lamps that go out when they use up their oil, so are human lives, kindled by the flame of desire and subsisting on the oil of attachment. There is nothing substantial in this evanescent world. Just as a tree that once offered cooling shade and nectarine fruits is cruelly cut down by the axes of the woodcutters, so too the life of a man, in spite of his gracious acts and benevolent qualities, is cut down by the cruel axe of death.
Amen.
So what we are learning here is the process of life. If 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 there's a life, there has to be a death, and the important thing is to make use of this life, make sure that we progress a bit so that the next time it is better and better next time. So it's really a process of life and death. That's what we are studying here, and how some people are able to take advantage of it and realize at the end, and some people just keep coming back, or they keep going down. That's all I understand so far.
Right. Yeah. Even if you have to be reborn, do all the good karmas and practice gnanam with the various process of the meditation and what you call Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam, so that you will, just like whatever that you have learned today, then you will continue the next day. You don't forget it. Same way, whatever that you have achieved in this life, you are going to make further progress in the next life. So never stop.
Raghuji, I have a question and a statement too. Uh, what is wrong with enjoying the happy moment in life, enjoying the moment, like enjoying the time with the family, knowing fully well it's not going to last, but at least enjoy the moment and then move on to the next one.
Yeah, you are 100% right. There's nothing wrong. Just like when you are traveling with passengers in a train, just because you don't know them, or just because you are going to leave after a few hours, you don't say, "Oh, I don't care about them." You develop friendship, and you talk to them, and spend some leisurely nice time with them. Same way, you enjoy the relations. Okay, the parents, wife, children, and all that. But remember, all these are transitory.
Correct.
Okay, don't uh, put all your attachment to it. Uh, Enjoy the life that has Bhagavan has given, or based on your good karmas of the past. But don't get attached and bogged down. But make sure you do the sadhana. Okay, and then I had to go to Rani. I'm sorry, Rakesh Kumar is here. First Rakesh Kumar, then Rani.
Hariom, the development of attachment towards loved ones is like coming in contact with a poisonous tree. Through pleasing in the beginning, the poison continues to affect the very bloodstream of a person, causing him to faint and to die in course of time. There is no aspect of the world which is not defective. There is no direction that is not caught in the fire of misery. There is no being that is not subject to death. There is no action that is not tainted with evil. This world of enjoyment is sustained by a series of modifications. All trees are nothing but wood. All human bodies are nothing but flesh and blood. All objects are modifications of Maya, cosmic illusion. There is nothing substantial or real in this world. Hari Om.
Now go ahead and read the next paragraph.
The five basic elements go to evolve diverse objects of pleasure for the ignorance ridden minds of man. There is nothing unique in this world.
Yeah.
Hari Om. Continuing the same thing, they're talking about how we are not really looking, because people get involved, and these vasanas and indriyas are so strong, because unless you are aware where you want to go, because they will carry you away, because it's very hard to get off of them, the track, because you are making money, you got good kids, you are just enjoying your good job, and the patient loves you, and you think you just can't leave them. But unless you realize and get to the main thing, what I am here for, and I want to get moksha, so get in the path and try to work on it. So he's telling like how these all enjoyment are just like a perishable, but we don't realize it when we're going to it, and they are so tracky. You just get more and more involved because you are happy one day, tomorrow you want to do that, next day you want to do that. So unless you leave behind and try to get to the right path, you can't get the moksha. Hari Om.
Yeah. So if you really look at it, like in the last paragraph says, everything is made out of 5 elements. So if you break down everything into 5 elements, okay, there's really no substantial thing that we should get attached to, including our own body. Our body is the microcosm of this world, and made out of the same 5 elements, but we think we were separate from the whole world, not realizing the whole body, mind, the intellect is nothing but a part of the whole world. And if you keep thinking like this, then you realize, hey, am I this inert body? So that is the real mananam. And constantly reminding ourselves and doing the reflection, we need to evolve. Okay, I keep coming back and going back. Nagarajan, you want to read, sir? Finish the chapter.
Hari Om Rakiji, I just finished. I think Rani should do it.
Oh, okay. Rani Amma. Okay, go ahead. I didn't realize that you read it.
Hari Om Raghuji. Veiled by the illusion of attachments, the mind of a person is unable to understand the nature of the divine self. How can he constantly meditate upon the self? Engrossed in grazing upon green grass, a goat accidentally falls from a high peak to his ruin. In the same way, engrossed in the pursuit of the objects of desire, human beings fall into the depths of misery and grief. Most people are like trees growing in dark pits. Their leaves, flowers, fruits, and shade are confined to a limited area. Others are not benefited by their existence. Growing within the confines of their selfish mind, they exercise their talents, wealth, and resources for their own egoistic satisfaction. Thus, they are unable to develop knowledge, humility, and other spiritual qualities. In this dreamlike world, men who are attached to perishable objects are seen everywhere, but those who are endowed with discrimination and dispassion are rarely found.
Moment.
And here, I know it's funny, it indicates men who are attached to perishable objects. What happened to all the women?
Yeah.
Does that mean women are not attached to perishable objects?
Yeah, you're talking about men means the opposite, the opposite sex also. So just like
Actually,
a woman author writing, she keeps writing woman, woman, woman. It doesn't mean man is excluded. So
I feel he's talking about all human beings, men.
Yeah, right.
He's not just a man.
Correct.
Men as yeah.
Right. So yeah, if we can use our talents, wealth, and resources for the common good, we make progress. That is real karma yoga. But we use it for our own selfish, what do you call, aggrandizement. Then naturally we continue to be born and suffer based on our own karmas. And nobody cares about you because you don't care about the world. Whether you are alive or dead, nobody cares because you don't care about the world. So.
But Raghuji, I mean, unless you are Ramana Maharshi, most people, like take lower middle class or middle class people, they have to focus on, studying, getting a job, and supporting the family and things like that before even they can think of how do I liberate myself from this.
So what are you trying to say?
So, how can we change that?
Well, only thing I can see is based on our past vasanas, okay, we are pushed along those lines. Okay, but if you are lucky to be able to come to this knowledge, then the scriptures don't tell you to leave everything and run away, because you cannot, because the vasanas are still powerful. So convert your vasanas to do karmas to karma yoga. Do all your karmas not for personal desire, but as whatever your duties in life that you do. Okay, duties of a student, you study. Duties of a grihastha, take care of the family and the society. Do this. Of the vanapraste, take care of the society and slowly withdraw. Sannyasi, leave the society and go to forest. Like that. So if you continue to do that, then you progress. But if you continue to be attached, you even at the age of 80, then you're still thinking of women and you're still thinking of watching the television from morning till evening. And so,
Raghuji, I think you answered perfectly. Just to add to that, we don't have to go to great Ramana Maharishi. We have our within our approachable phase, Brahmachari Jyoti ji. You know, our past life vasana determines how we act in the present life. And
right.
her vasanas, made her to choose the path of brahmachari at the very young age. You know, she is desireless and serving the society. So.
Right. Yeah. So you should have the right reason to leave the society. That means real discrimination and dispassion has to be there. But if you are leaving in the middle because, I got so many children, I don't have a job, and my wife is bothering me, so I'm going to run away and take sannyasa, that's not the time to take sannyasa. So that's what like Arjuna wanted to do. Oh, I don't want to kill all these people, these are all my relatives and all that. Okay, no, that's your duty to protect dharma, and that is so you are in a righteous war. Not a
Raghuji, I think Nisargadatta Maharaj was a good example of this. He still had a store, he was still in the path. So he did both together.
Right, exactly. So that's another extreme example of a person in the right, what do you call, vairagya, and immediately found the right guru, and so he attained the goal within a few years. So if you develop that kind of a vairagya, then definitely the guru will come, and based on your own circumstances, he will guide you along. So just like take this Vinayak Vinayakananda Swamiji from Ramakrishna Mission, who had come here, had hosted him for a couple of days. Okay, that even from his childhood, he had complete dispassion. And he went out and joined Ramakrishna Mission, and he became a Swami, and even that was not enough. His dispassion was so strong, and he went to the Vindhya mountains, and for several years he meditated, just like they say in these books, that go away and meditate in the forest, and he did it. So you can say, even in these times of the world, there are rare souls like that who have that dispassion and go away, and still there are places where you can meditate and achieve the goal. So, okay, Ratnam, I want to read.
Okay, Hariom. Section 28. The transient nature of all sense enjoyments. All this visible world, consisting of conscious and inert objects, is transient, like a conference held in a dream. Today, where there is an ocean with unfathomable depths, tomorrow there will arise a mountain kissing the sky. Today, the physical body of a person is being adorned with silken clothes, beautiful ornaments, and lovely cosmetics. Tomorrow, it will lie desolate in the cremation grounds. Today, where there is a thriving city with numerous inhabitants involved in diverse activities, tomorrow there will exist a barren desert. Should I continue?
Just one more, Amma.
Today, there is a person who is immensely powerful, who is a majestic ruler. Tomorrow, he will be reduced to dust.
Comment?
The green forest abounding with trees, creepers, herbs, and silvery streams. Tomorrow, it will be converted into a busy city with thousands of people. How Rama is telling that how everything in this world is transient, impermanent. Nothing stays permanent because everything is perishable. That's what he is giving the example, Rama, here.
Yeah.
And he is really thinking, what is permanent? Go after it. The self-realization, the pure conscious Brahman. Hari Om.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Amma. Okay. Who is the Sudhirji? You want to read, sir?
Hari Om, very good, yes. Childhood, youth, body, properties, and possessions, all these are transitory, like waves rising and falling in the ocean. So do these come and go in this world process. As fickle as the flame of a lamp buffeted by the wind, so is this life, like the flashing of lightning from the dark clouds. This world process is like an actress assuming different roles and playing different parts. She continues to weave a web of magic as she dances. Her eyes are fickle like flashes of lightning. She has veiled the truth of Brahman by her enhancement of the names and forms. O sage, there were great men experiencing great prosperities and achievements, performing great sacrifices and majestic deeds. Where are they now? They dwell only in our memories. In the same way, we too will pass away, leaving behind our memories.
Amen.
This is actually, as you said, it is, the life is transitory and it is actually, as it says, a fickle and as a flame, it will just, flashes, it just comes and goes, as quick as, as like fickle as, fickle, okay, small. We have a very short period of time and we have to realize is that, see, the word process and Maya is actually acting like a actress, actually coming out the different shades and different, kind of, what is that, Indrajala kind of. And she's actually put a veil in front of Brahman and we are not able to see it. And only, I mean, end of the day, only the realized person only has to realize that this is Maya. Even all the great people, I know that is I'm thinking about this when I was reading. Even in some, I hear that in some even in India, some people don't know who is actually Gandhi, what Gandhi really did. Okay. So even Gandhi is one of the greatest Indian, I would say, at least in the modern history. And some people don't know about him because he will become just a memory, or we remember only once a year or kind of thing, or as looking at the we call it as Gandhi Tata in $500 500 rupees note. So what means is nothing is transitory, and you should end of the day they say that whatever happens in this world comes and goes. I know the true meaning of Jagat, right? So it just comes and goes.
Jagat. Keeps moving. Yeah. So that's why when you were talking, I was thinking about my own life. Okay. The last 80 years or at least 70 years of my remembering memories, life, I can go through it in 1 or 2 minutes from little childhood to this, say, and it's 70 years or 75 years. Okay. And like that, so it looks like, oh, it's a long time. But when you look back at it, like it says here, everything like as if like a flashing light. So, and if you particularly look at the infinite time of the yugas passing, that that individual life is nothing, not even the size of a atom in this world process. So.
Also, same way, Raghuji, Carl Sagan's one of the satellite photo is there in a big blue picture, and that there will be a teeny bit of a dot will be there, and it will just, in that dot, that is actually pointing, it is as Earth. Earth is actually as a small speck in the whole universe.
Yeah.
And we are actually in Earth, even as smaller than that speck.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
so
When we have so much aggrandizement or ego, and if we can think of that, that ego bubble will burst. So, unfortunately, we don't think of that. Okay, Vishwanathan sir, you want to read?
Yeah, sure, Raghuji. Yeah, but before that, so just taking into the context, Raghuji, each statement here talks about the life principle. So is it like Bhagavan Rama is explaining the knowledge that he gained to build his own vairagya, or for the, as this topic talks about vairagya prakarana. So, how, so it is trying to, for each individual, what all he needs to realize to build his own vairagya. Uh, I'm just trying to understand here. It talks about birth, death, all the life wisdom of life, right? Philosophies of life, or the laws of life.
Right. So, yeah. Being in that stage of young youth, I fear that seeing this whole world after the primary education from the Guru, and then having pilgrimages all over the country, and seeing the people's lives and all that, what he learned in the form of discrimination and dispassion. And that is the reason that he is not interested in the world. But he needs the teaching, okay, how to live in this world. And that's why after the Yoga Vashishta teaching by Vashishta Rishi, then he goes back to continue to rule the country. And the rest of the life he lives like an equanimous man, and that's why he is called Antapurusha,
Maryada Purusha.
Maryada Rama, to be followed. Because as a human being, he lived his life without any attachment to anything, but he lived loving everybody. And so he killed Ravana, and he could have become the king of Lanka and he included it in his kingdom, but he did not. Okay, he made Ravana's brother the king. The same way he killed Vali, and he made the Sugriva as the king. And he was ready to stay in the forest if Bharata wanted to continue to rule the kingdom. Okay, so that kind of detachment he had, and he lived very equanimously, happily. And so all that happened why? Because of this Yoga Vasishta teaching. Akilama. Or is it Vishwa supposed to read?
I think so.
Oh, Vishwa, go ahead to read Vishwa.
I think individual. I think Sudhirji concluded the last para was O Sage, right, Sudhirji?
Yeah, you read
yes,
the next
yes,
paragraph.
yes.
This world is being destroyed every day. It is being created every day as well. This unending process of creation and destruction continues always. Individual soul continues to embody in the different forms, men, animal, tree, or heavenly gods and perfected beings. There is nothing steady or immutable in this world. All beings, whether dwelling in higher celestial planes or in grosser planes of existence, are like dry logs of wood to be consumed by the fire of time. With death waiting at one's doors, all one's possession, prosperity, near and dear relatives, friends, and glorious attainments appear vain and essentialless. Essenceless. Yeah, I think it talks about nothing is permanent. Everything is impermanent. It talks about how the again it continues to talk about the birth and death life cycle, the creation destruction cycle again.
Yeah, yeah. So we say the world is the same. Okay. Oh, you go back to town and say, oh, we are the same Tiptur, same Mysore, and same Bangalore, like that. But is it the same Bangalore? Okay. It's constantly changed from what it was 50 years ago, like 70 years ago that I know now. It's changed. Same way, everything in this world is constantly changing, but we don't realize. We assume everything that is normal. The only thing that's immutable is that Atman that one has to realize. Very good. Next, Akhilamma.
Raghuji, I was thinking, they don't tell us all this when we read the Ramayana. Otherwise, when Rama went for the 14 years to the forest, he knew so much more. He was not an ordinary prince going to the forest.
Correct.
He was a enlightened soul there. That is why he could do it so effortlessly. Whereas when we read the Ramayana, we never know about it.
Yeah, correct. So that's the reason he had so much equanimity. Then one night the father said, you are going to become the crown prince the next morning. And the next morning said that you are going to go to the forest. He didn't show any emotions of happiness or sorrow. Because this teaching gave him the complete knowledge of what he is, and that's why that he was able to live like that. That's how that we all, if you look at our own friends in life, we might find one friend, okay, that who was completely different from most. Not interested in what we call movies or movie songs, things like that. He was interested completely in his study and see what he can do in the society, things like that. And what is the difference? That's because of the vasanas. Each vasanas is different. And so even now we see people like that. So that's why I always compare myself to like Swami Narayan, the founder of the sect, as a young boy, how he was. He was like Shankaracharya. Okay. At that age, what is Raghu's thinking? Okay. Just a little toys and interested in his own self. Nothing about the world. Nothing about, hey, what is this world? And what am I supposed to achieve in this world? Nothing. So, looking back at it, you look at it with wisdom, and hopefully in the next birth that you will be born with more dispassion to the world. If not, achieve the goal in this life. So,
the objects appear charming only as long as the mind is not acquainted with the transitory nature of all things in the world. In a moment, a man of immense wealth is converted into a pauper. In a moment, a person of radiant health becomes a helpless patient suffering from a debilitating disease. The world continues to change like the colors of the chameleon. At times, the sky is overcast with dark clouds. At times, it is filled with the milky whiteness of the full moon. At times, it resounds with the sound of thunder. At times, there is a rain of serenity. At times, the stars adorn the blue expansion of the sky. At times, it is lit up with the rays of the sun. Even like the changing conditions of the sky, this world is a transitory process.
So in that changing thing that happened in the sky, the stars come and go, and forget about the planets and human beings and all that, but the sky remains the same way that the witness consciousness is that one that remains the same. So if you continue to think about our own situation, what we are, if you are in a sorrowful mood, we can take consolation. It's not going to last forever. But if you are in a very prosperous situation, don't get carried away and say, hey, this is also transitory, and my real goal is realization. The proper, clear understanding and living that world gives us the equanimity. Anjaneyulu, sir?
Sure, Rajesh. Within moments, a person encounters adversities. Within moments, he is blessed with unexpected prosperities. Within moments, a person is overcome by death. Within moments, his soul enters into another embodiment. Is there anything in this world which is not momentary and transient? Human personality is constantly overcome by birth, death, hunger, thirst, childhood, youth, and old age. Like alternating days and nights, prosperity and adversity continue to visit a person one after another. A strong person is often restored by a weak person. At times, even a very unworthy person rises to great heights of fame and prosperity. At times, even great persons are devoid of any external forms of success and prosperity. Shall I continue? Or here, shall I stop?
Comment, sir.
Yeah, sure, Raghuji. Here given the person's individuals variations of sukha dukkha, raga dvesha, all dvandas are given here, which are transitory in nature. And like in Bhagavad Gita, one sloka, Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langete girim yat krupa tamam vande paramananda madhav. So the other way around is if you depend, Bhagavan and Krupa, anything is possible in the same transitory world. So
yeah. So like when you talked about when a strong person can be destroyed by the weak person, so in Bible there's this old Testament, there's a story about Goliath and the other one, the little guy shot
David,
a
David,
stone at Goliath, and Goliath, huge, strong person, just fell dead. So like that. So if that's supposed to happen, it will happen. So there's no real, what we call, the reasoning about those things. So one should not get carried away with his strength in what you call name, physical strength, power, all those things, because they all come and go. Very good. And Ashwin, you want to read, sir?
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hardly have the childhood days of simplicity been enjoyed when there emerges youth with its multicolored illusions. Hardly have the youthful days been experienced when there advances old age with increasing debility and mental weakness. Even in this body, there is no steadiness. How can we expect steadiness from from other things of the world? The mind is happy at times filled with depressing thoughts, at times dull and distracted, at other times serene and joyous, at times filled with dispassion, at times involved in worldly pleasures. Within a moment, it becomes cheerful, and within a moment, it sinks into dejection. Even mental states are transient and short lived. Want me to continue?
Finish that one.
Okay. People grow like corn to be cooked and eaten up by the Creator, who continues the process of creation and destruction with an unrelenting succession.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, Go ahead with the next two paras.
No, comment, please.
Yeah, so this is, continuing with the thought process. Is there anything in this world which is not momentary and transient, right? So here, beautifully, it's described about how body, there is no steadiness, and also the mind, how it, goes through different states, happy at times, depressed, dull, distracted, serene, joyous, so many different, states of the mind. So neither the body nor the mental states are permanent. Like they go through changes all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, the last paragraph reminds me of what Nachiketa tells or talks to himself about what his father said. Father told him with anger that I'm going to give you to Yamaraj. And so at that time, you can't know why did he say that? Okay. But we people, they grow like corn and die, okay? But we have to achieve something out of our life. So that's why he developed dispassion and says, okay, my father said, want to give me to Yamaraj, I'm going to go to Yamaraj. I want to make his word true. So like that, we don't realize how that our life is just a little like a piece of corn that been born and die is just a question of time. The corn might die in a year being eaten up right away, but we get eaten up by time. So, okay. And Dinesh ji, you want to read?
Okay. Neither adversity nor prosperity is abiding in this world. All is transitory and short-lived. This time spirit continues to change the things of the world with ruthless vehemence. Like fruits that fall from the trees, people continue to fall day by day into gaping jaws of death, shaken by the wind of time. So this is basically, we all know that we all have to die one day, and something that is born has to die too, whether it's a tree or a human being, animal, anything. So we are all in a constant movement going from one end to the other end.
Yeah.
Hariom.
Yeah, just like it was said that we see the death all around, but we think that we never die. So that's the surprising thing. So very good. And then next is Maya. You want to read, Amma?
Okay, section 29. The senselessness of all objects. The perception of pain in the world is like a forest fire that has consumed my mind, just as a mirage is impossible in a lake. So too the mirage of worldly enjoyments cannot manifest in the lake of my mind. Just as a neem tree continues to become more and more bitter as it grows and matures, so the world is becoming increasingly bitter as time passes on. The world grows like a thorny karanja bush. Dharma, righteousness, continue to decline. Adharma, unrighteousness, is increasing day by day. Goodness wants while evil vexes. So here he's talking about all the, pain. Actually, this he's saying is a perception of pain. It's not really there, but the perception is that is like a forest fire. So it might, and then he talks about the mirage that, is not there, but you see it. And then he's talking about that world is becoming bitter, just like a neem tree. And I'm not sure what is a karanja bush is. So that is, becoming thorny. Means the thinking of mind is really so vague. He's talking about is it's like a tree, is like a bush, anything else and it's like a dharma is declining and adharma is increasing.
Yeah. So that's the thing I can't understand. Within that span of, though he's 16 years of age, assuming the first 5 years was the childhood, in the last 10, 11 years, how much he can say the dharma is declining and adharma is increasing. So, I don't know.
Because he was God.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. Okay. Who is next? Nag, you want to read, sir?
Hari Om, sir. The ethical standards are being broken by the ascendance of unrighteousness. I deem seclusion far better than a life immersed in royal enjoyment, envenomed with mental grief. A garden redolent with flowers does not delight my heart. The perspectives of sex and wealth do not gladden my spirit. I desire to possess a mind that is quiet and peaceful. O adorable sage, this world is devoid of happiness, it is perishable. Craving continues to well with a piercing intensity. The mind continues to stay fickle and restless. To expect peace from this world is ridiculous. I am ever immersed in the thought of attaining freedom from all craving through liberation.
Yeah. I mean,
well, it's in a way good to know, even in Treta Yuga, Dharma is going down and Adharma is growing up. It is nothing special to Kali Yuga. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the thing. I keep, as I read it, you will say if Buddha had to comment on why he's leaving, wants to leave the world, probably he would have said the same thing. But for Buddha, there was no teacher asking him, why you have dispassion? And overnight, through his contemplation, he left the house and he became a great saint. And here Rama had a teacher and he lived in this world, okay? And he is still, like Buddha, serving the world with his life as a teaching. So, both ways, they became world teachers. Okay, who is next? Rakesh Kumar.
Hari Om. I do not welcome death. I do not welcome life either. I want to attain the lofty state wherein I can become free from the favors of the world process. What I have to do with kingdom. What purpose can these fleeting enjoyments serve for me? What can I gain through wealth? It is the ego sense that lends values to all these. In me, this ego sense is dead. It is difficult to detach the senses from sense objects. The individual soul is tied to the cycle of birth and death through the knotted rope of attachment. Hari Om. Now, the Rama is talking and telling, because after hearing all this, so he said, I don't welcome death, I don't want, but I want to attain the liberation. And I want to get free from the cycle of death and birth. So he's telling what I'm going to do in the kingdom and what I'll do with wealth, and they are all ego senses, and they may drag into the sense organs. So I want to get rid of it and try to get away and get the moksha.
Yeah.
So he's saying it's difficult to detach from senses, from sense objects, and that's why he want to get the liberation.
Yeah.
Hari Om.
Good. Very nice. Rani Amma.
And
Just
basically, in that one line
tramples
is.
upon.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead,
somebody-
Sudhirji.
No, I was just saying that it is the ego sense that I lends value to all this. In me, this ego sense is dead. That means, he's actually declaring that he's actually came out of that I-ness. Is that
Yeah,
what it is?
correct. So because of that, he can look at the whole world with an equanimous eye. So
Okay. Sorry, Raniji.
go ahead. Amma.
Just as an elephant tramples upon a soft flower, so the momentum of passion crushes the tender blooms of the mind. If this mind is not treated during youth, how can it be treated when the disease of the whole process is allowed to intensify during old age? Sense objects are worse than poison. A poisonous substance kills the body once, but attachment to the sense objects continues to kill this body from one embodiment to another. Pleasure, pain, friend, relative, life, and death, all these cause bondage in the mind of an ignorant person. A man of enlightenment is not overcome by these. Therefore, O crest jewel of the wise, please instruct me with that wisdom which will free me from grief, fear, and misery.
Yeah. So he knows there is a solution for it. So want to comment?
No, Raghuji. Thank you.
So that second paragraph is so interesting. Sense objects are worse than poison. So I think in Vivek Chudamani, the same way it is said that poison kills the person immediately, but this passion kills the person slowly. The same way, another sloka in Vivek Chudamani says these animals go to their death because of their attachment to a sense, a particular sense, like the deer for the sound, and for the elephant for the skin, touch, and the fish for the taste, and what are the two other things?
Firefly for the firefly sees
Sight
the
and
sight.
something for the smell.
The
But
smell is okay.
Elephant.
go ahead.
Elephant for the sparsha, that external thing.
Right. But Allah,
The honeybee into the lotus flower, it sits there. Then,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, right. So for the taste. So the same, but alas, the human being is attached to all the five senses. How can he extricate himself from the sense objects? So like that.
Raghuji, one question on this one, right? So, in this says that if this mind is not treated during youth, how can it be treated when the disease of the world process is allowed to intensify during old age? Yeah, see, but you see, when you are actually in the youth, when you are young, unless until your prarabdha dictates you to just turn into this, in a spiritual area, even if you go and tell them, they will say, "Hey, you guys are old guys. I'm not old enough to read this, or I'm old enough to learn this." That's a quite common comment we get, right?
Yeah.
If you discuss about it. So then, how? I mean, this is that is only the conundrum. You have to have the prarabdha to get into a line and you get into the line when you are young. Okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah, agree with you. So you can see how the Pandavas and Kauravas had the same teachers and same grandfathers and all that. Okay. But it is their own vasanas which turned them into either divine or demoniac personalities. So,
But Raghuji, there is also some Purushartha there, right? We have to make some effort too. Prarabdha will help,
right.
but Purushartha also needs to be there.
Yeah. The one has to realize it, but if their prarabdha, I won't call it as a prarabdha, it's the vasanas, but how some people don't change, though the environment is the same, and some people get spiritually better. That is something that somebody else has to answer. I don't know.
That's it depends on the parenting, Raghuji. Suppose in our say mokkaina childhood tender age only we have to bend them so that when they grow up like a tree, the tree will be bended tree. So
Yeah.
it depends.
I don't know the parenting part because my father is an atheist. Parenting is, I don't know, it's still only thing is I know the Bhagavan has to reach you to just get into that line. That Bhagavan's help is required. Plus the once you are actually going to get into a fork, okay, there you will led by Guru or Bhagavan himself, right? So
yeah.
So here Rama is not talking about prarabdha or anything. He's talking about himself.
Right.
If I don't get this distraction at this age, if I started enjoying the worldly pleasure, how am I going to get out of it? That is basically the message from Rama.
Right. Nagji, I agree with that. In this context, I was actually talking an outside of the context, right? In the normal world, when you discuss with some young guys, they will say, "Hey, I'm not old enough to learn all these things." So those are all it's a normal comment. At least I hear it a lot. Even my aunt says that she is not old enough to go through this.
I think so. The company has a lot to do, Dr. Raghu. Company has a lot to do.
Yeah.
Because the company you move in, that make a lot of influence on you.
Yeah.
And that's what I realized myself, what I have done
Right.
in the earlier ages of my life. And then getting to know the people and the company, that changed me. And that has a lot of difference in the way you practice the sadhana.
Agree. That's why Shankaracharya says, Satsangatve Nisangatvam. Only when with Satsanga you get dispassion to the world. So, beautiful. Okay, Ratnam, I want to finish this chapter.
Okay. Ignorance. Dr. Raghu, continue from.
Ignorance. Yeah, correct.
Ignorance is like a terrible forest. The subtle desires for the objects of the world are like traps spread by the hunter. Death. Its highlands and lowlands, its pleasures and pains are covered with the thorns of miseries. I aspire to be released from this forest. Blinded by the taint of ignorance, my mind trembles like the flames of a lamp, buffeted by gusts of wind. It is ever involved in removing that which is undesirable and acquiring that which is desirable. Craving is like a subtle thread that has pierced the minds of people and has woven them into a cordland. Just as a vigilant lion breaks loose from its fetters, that is how I want to break down the fetters of anger, hatred, and other evils with the forces of wisdom acquired from your teachings. There is no mental problem which cannot be dissolved by good association with a wise person. There is no darkness which cannot be dispelled by the sun. So here is Rama is telling how this life is terrible. It is all the time. These are the desires is the one. They are like traps you. Instead of going through the knowledge, the real knowledge, and then this ignorance is the real cause of the problem in man's life. And then, just like a lion breaks, one should be strong enough to break this chain of anger, hatred, and other evils with the forces of what? Wisdom acquired from your teachings and from the teachers. There is no mental problem which cannot be dissolved. So he tells, but satsangatve nisangatam nisangatve nirmohatam nirmohatve nischalatatvam. So like that. So being with the satsang and with good association, and then the gurus, one can associate himself and get rid of these desires and attachment. Hari Om.
Yeah. So he knows there is a solution, and the guru can give that wisdom. So he said, I want to break down the fetters of anger, hatred, and will with the force of wisdom acquired from your teachings. And there's no problem that cannot be dissolved by good association with people like you. And so he has complete confidence in the guru, and which is completely correctly placed confidence in the guru. Very nice satsang. So started 2025 with a good dispassion and Viveka Vairagya.
Okay.
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ
Hari Om, everybody.
Hari Om. Akhilama, can you do the summary next week?
Who?
Akhilama.
Yes, Raghuji, I will give it.
Okay, very good. So we'll meet again next week. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.